Over the past few million years, Earth was not inhabited by just one kind of human. It was home to many different human species. Some were stronger. Some were better adapted to cold environments. Some had larger brains than ours. And yet today, only one human species remains. Us. So what happened to all the others? For most of human history, our planet was shared by several different human species. Homo habilis walked the African savannas nearly 2 million years ago. Later came Homo erectus, a traveler who spread across vast territories. In Europe and Western Asia, the powerful Neanderthals adapted to the harsh cold of the Ice Age. And in mysterious regions of Asia, another group existed, the Denisovans. Humanity was once a family of many branches, not a single survivor. As time passed, different human species began spreading across the planet. Some followed migrating animals. Others adapted to forests, mountains, and frozen plains. Slowly, human populations expanded far beyond their African origins. At times, these human species did not live completely isolated from one another. They met, they competed, and sometimes they even formed connections. Modern genetic studies reveal that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals actually interbred. Fragments of Neanderthal DNA still live within many humans today. Our history is not just a story of survival, it is also a story of interaction. One of the most powerful tools early humans ever mastered was fire. Fire brought warmth during freezing nights. It scared away predators, and it transformed the way humans prepared food. Around the glow of fire, something else began to grow. Conversation, stories, culture. For thousands of years, multiple human species shared this planet. Then, slowly, something changed. One by one, the other human species disappeared. Neanderthals vanished. Denisovans faded into mystery. Other human relatives left behind only fragments of bone and stone, till eventually, only one species remained. Homo sapiens, us. But the real mystery remains. Why did every other human species disappear? And what made Homo sapiens different? Was it intelligence, cooperation, adaptation, or simply chance? The answer may be more complex than we imagine. When we think about human evolution, it is tempting to imagine a straight line, a simple progression from primitive creatures to modern humans. But the reality is far more complex. Human evolution was not a ladder. It was a branching tree. Different species adapted to different environments. Some adapted to cold climates. Others thrived in forests or open grasslands. Each human species was shaped by the world around it. Adaptation, not superiority, determines survival. One important advantage of Homo sapiens may have been social cooperation. Early humans did not survive alone. They survived in groups, sharing food, protecting one another, teaching skills to the next generation. Over time, humans developed something incredibly powerful: complex communication. Language allowed ideas to travel between minds. Knowledge could now survive longer than a single lifetime, and that changed everything. Technology also played a critical role. Stone tools became more refined, techniques improved, and knowledge was passed from one generation to the next. What one human discovered, others could learn. Innovation began to accelerate. But survival was not determined by intelligence alone. The Earth itself was changing. During the Ice Age, climate shifted dramatically. Glaciers expanded and retreated. Forests became grasslands. Animals migrated or disappeared. Species that could not adapt quickly enough struggled to survive. Environmental change reshaped the human story. Gradually, the number of human species began to decline. Neanderthals disappeared around 40,000 years ago. The Denisovans faded even earlier. Other ancient human groups vanished without leaving many traces. Some may have been absorbed into Homo sapiens populations. Others may have been pushed into extinction. But the exact reasons remain one of the great mysteries of human history. Among all the ancient human species, one group remains especially mysterious: the Denisovans. Unlike Neanderthals or Homo erectus, scientists have discovered very few Denisovan fossils. In fact, the species was first identified from a single finger bone found inside a cave in Siberia. That cave, known as Denisova Cave, gave the species its name. But despite the lack of fossils, modern genetics has revealed something remarkable. Denisovans once spread across large parts of Asia. Their genetic traces appear today in populations from Tibet, Southeast Asia, and even parts of Oceania. This means that Denisovans did not simply disappear. They interacted with other human groups, and in some cases they became part of them. One of the most fascinating discoveries involves people living on the Tibetan Plateau. These populations possess a genetic adaptation that helps them survive in extremely low oxygen environments. Scientists believe this gene was inherited from Denisovans. In other words, long after the Denisovans vanished, part of their legacy continues to help humans survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Another major difference between Homo sapiens and earlier human species may lie in culture. Early humans did more than simply survive. They began to express ideas. Across caves in Europe, Asia, and Africa, ancient paintings began to appear on stone walls. Some of these paintings are more than 40,000 years old. At the same time, humans began creating ornaments, beads made from shells, necklaces carved from bone, pigments used to decorate the body. These objects served no practical survival purpose, yet they were made with care and intention. This suggests something profound. Humans were developing identity. Symbols allowed individuals to recognize members of their own group, and large networks of cooperation could form between people who had never even met before. In a dangerous prehistoric world, this ability may have been one of the most powerful survival tools of all. Disease. Population collapse. Throughout prehistoric history, small human populations may have disappeared simply because they were too few in number. A harsh winter could wipe out an isolated group. A drought could destroy a food supply. In this view, the survival of Homo sapiens may not have been inevitable. It may have been fragile. Our ancestors may have survived not because they were destined to rule the planet, but because they managed to endure a series of dangerous moments when other human groups could not. In other words, the survival of our species may have been one of the most improbable stories in natural history. When we look at the deep history of humanity, one truth becomes clear: we were never alone. For most of our existence, this planet was shared with other human species. Some looked different, some lived in harsher environments, some followed different paths of adaptation. But they were human in their own way. Today, their voices are silent, their cultures are gone, yet fragments of their story remain. In fossils buried beneath ancient soil, in tools shaped by forgotten hands, and even within the DNA carried by billions of people alive today. The story of humanity is not simply the story of Homo sapiens. It is the story of an entire family of humans, and of the long, uncertain journey that left only one branch still standing.